Hey everybody, Jimmy here. Welcome back to the channel. So, based on the video's thumbnail, you're probably wondering, what the heck is going on in New York? And how in the world are they having a natural gas shortage? For the past bazillion weeks, we've seen gas report after gas report show us increased storage numbers, and the price of natural gas has continued to fall, which is just plain irritating to UGAZ traders and investors. So what is going on? Well, let's talk about it. Now, first off, if you're serious about trading UGAZ and DGAZ or some combination of the two and /NG and you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button, give us a chance. We'd love to have you. All right, now back to our story. Now, this whole natural gas shortage issue involves a utilities company named National Grid, which is based out of the United Kingdom, and most of its business is primarily in the UK, as well as a portion of their business is in the Northeast United States, namely New York. Now, here's where it gets interesting. There is a current standoff between the state government of New York and this gas company, National Grid. Now in the left corner, you have National Grid, who provides gas up to 1.8 million customers in Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, and Long Island. They want a new pipeline that would increase gas supply to downstate New York. Now in the right corner, fighting out of the state of New York, are the state politicians who have twice denied approval for this pipeline over environmental concerns. So any idea who's caught in the middle? Well, it's the residents and small businesses all over the southern tip of New York. Now, this desired pipeline is called the Williams Pipeline, and it would be an expansion of the roughly 10,000-mile interstate natural gas pipeline that stretches from Texas all the way to New York City. The expansion is proposed to be built by an energy company, an energy infrastructure company named Williams. And the cost? Get this, it's said to be $1 billion. Now, critics of the pipeline say it would increase the region's reliance on fossil fuels and could adversely affect the immediate environment surrounding it. For example, when you disrupt the ground to put in a pipeline like this, it can stir up mercury and copper levels in the soil and significantly decrease water quality to those living in that area. Now, since May, National Grid has denied 2,600 requests for natural gas services due to this stalemate. And as a result, tenants are unable to move into newer built homes due to no gas supply in the area. So they're building these big, beautiful homes, and everyone's just watching them be built, buying them, and then not moving into them because they cannot get natural gas supplied to that area. Now we have an update. As of just late last week, the Cuomo administration in New York issued an order to National Grid to turn gas back on to 1,100 inactive accounts that were caught up in this moratorium standoff that National Grid created. They're stating that this stalemate over future supply levels could endanger current residents. Now, National Grid complied, and natural gas is now flowing to these residents. However, there is an acknowledgement of a natural gas shortage on the horizon, and this was reported by the state government of New York, and there's currently no plan for increased supply. So all this begs the question, what is the state of New York going to do if their natural gas supply is limited? The only way I can describe this, or a simple description of it, would be, imagine you have a small garden hose, small diameter garden hose, and you're watering your lawn. And your neighbor says, hey, I'd like to splice into your line and water my lawn. And then another neighbor says this, and another neighbor says this, and before you know it, everyone's just getting barely a trickle out of that line. And at some point, everyone suffers as a result, and you can't add additional homes. You can't have additional lawns in your neighborhood using this water. So my question to you all is, how is this going to affect UGAZ and DGAZ and the natural gas markets? Because this is a very population dense area, and this pipeline is something that's been proposed and denied. So if it does go through, how's that going to affect natural gas? If it doesn't, how is that going to affect natural gas? And one concern on people's minds is, if you don't provide natural gas and there's no more supply, what's left? Well, in a place like New York, it's possibly going back to oil, which is a dirtier, carbon-heavy fossil fuel. So we're kind of taking a step backwards in terms of decreasing our carbon footprint as a city. So it's food for thought. Let me know in the comments below what you think. So with that, let's take a look at UGAZ, DGAZ, /NG, and let's get an idea of what's going on right now in the natural gas world.
Okay, I've got /NG up on the charts here. This is the daily chart, and there's something that happened recently that's really interesting, and things are just going to continue to get more interesting with this presidential race. So many of you may have seen Senator Warren's words that she came out and recently said that she would ban all fracking on her first day as president. Now, I'm just going to flip over real quick. Here's the article. It's in the Washington Post. It says Warren raises 2020 stakes by vowing to ban fracking everywhere on first day as president. So this is really interesting. She said she'd immediately ban the fracking if elected president, and obviously getting a lot of pushback and critics who say that this would cripple the U.S. oil and gas industry and force the nation to import fossil fuels, which is crazy because fossil fuels are used to ship fossil fuels over here. So it's all kind of crazy right now. She said she'd sign an executive order that puts a total moratorium on all new fossil fuels for all new fossil fuel leases for drilling offshore and on public lands, and I will ban fracking everywhere. So that's a very huge statement that she's come out to say. And her announcement came with environmentalists urging her to join Vermont Senator Barry Sanders, who issued a statement on Wednesday calling for a full fracking ban on public and private lands. So this is getting super interesting, and I think the reason for what we're seeing in the markets today, because this was on Saturday, September 7th, that they came out and said all that, but there's been some more hubbub about it and more talk about it. So I'm wondering if that's part of the reason why we're seeing such a push down in natural gas prices, just some sort of spookiness going on within the market. So as we can see, we've been talking about this for a while, how we broke out and we touched that 200 simple moving average and then have come all the way back down. And then I was asking in a video last week, did I miss my entry? And the question that obviously now is no, because we just got slammed back down here. So we're back down at 2.23. And I'm super curious to know where this is going to go from here. And if we go over and look at UGAZ really quick, we're going to take a look at UGAZ and DGAZ, so hang tight for 1 second. But you can see we broke out on this chart as well. We've been having those bounces around the 2.23 level for /NG, which is kind of the equivalent, in my opinion, of about $12.50 per share of UGAZ. But you can see we gapped down pretty well, and now we're currently at 1273. So back down to that support level. But with the presidential candidates coming out and making statements, it's going to start mixing things up and creating a lot of pullbacks in the oil and gas market. So we got to watch that really closely, and I'm going to keep you guys posted. Anytime I see news on that, I'll come out and give you guys my thoughts on what's going on. But you can see we've gapped down. We're sort of laggy, not much happening with UGAZ. If I pop over to the 5-minute chart, you can see that big scare this morning, big dump to the downside. Bottomed at 1230 and then tried to rebound, but sort of got suffocated and stuffed back down. So I don't know if we're just going to trail out for the rest of the day, but it just doesn't look that great. So I keep checking the news feed here to see what's going on. There's also been U.S.-China trade talks going on. So one thing I like about TD Ameritrade is I can pop open the news window like this, and I can kind of take a look and just see exactly what's going on. So we'll kind of look at this real quick, but it just looks like there's been talks with China, and then with this comment from Senator Warren, that's going to cause a lot of uncertainty in the markets because of the the what if game. If she's elected and she bans fracking, that's obviously going to create a lot of issue for UGAZ and DGAZ. So now let's flip over. Let's go back to the daily chart real quick, and let's just go to DGAZ, and let's see how it's looking right now. So DGAZ is up, and the interesting thing about DGAZ is on this chart we had a level that we had drawn quite a while ago back in April, and it's sort of been tested a few times, acted as some support, acted as some resistance, and it seems to kind of be in that 135.25 area. But as you can see, we've gapped back up. Not sure if we're going to break those highs of 156 right in this area and start to move back to the upside, just depending on what's going to happen with, if we keep adding more supply and the demand still isn't there. I know winter weather is trying to come in, but we haven't seen that big storm yet to boost demand, so we'll keep waiting for that. But DGAZ is just looking like, yeah, we got the exact inverse of what happened with UGAZ, and it's looking like we're just trailing off. So UGAZ and DGAZ, we just got to keep a close eye on both and see what is developing in the news, because I think the news is going to play a major role in what's going on with these, especially if we have oversupply and we're just kind of stagnant, we're just sort of like not doing a lot. There's just been oversupply report after oversupply report, and the winter weather hasn't come in yet. We're just kind of doing a whole lot of nothing. So when a news article comes in or someone makes a big statement or something crazy happens, it can cause a fluctuation in one direction. So it seems to have more impact in an environment like we're in currently. So we'll just keep a quick, close eye on this thing. I will report every day on this. We'll keep checking in. If you guys have questions, leave them below. Thanks for stopping by. See you tomorrow.